there's never been a sustained ecosystem of digitally native content. History doesn't repeat itself, but it really loves to rhyme. And it felt like the microdrama boom rhymed with the creator economy emergence. And it's when I contextualized it in this larger creative economy boom of scripted that I was like, oh, this totally makes sense. Movies at the speed of TikTok. Things have happened to attention spans, but what has gone is people's patience to wait 8 or 10 minutes to find out whether or not something is worth their time.
And we're in this world of algorithms. We're in this world of getting the data that says, oh my God, if you do this in the first 10 minutes, they're going to stick around.
Yeah.
If you don't, they're gone.
They say that luck is when opportunity meets preparation. That might be the spectacle of crashing a train with MrBeast. When I looked at the fact that fundamentally people were watching these not because of IP or of a famous creator or actor, but because they wanted to know what happened next. What I'm always blown away by in what we do through fiction, we're able to synthesize extraordinary truths about this existence. People think that directing is about being controlling, and I think directing really is about.
Welcome to the Vertical Buzz, where vertical entertainment finds its voice. I'm your host, Buzz Leer. And today's guest, well, he hasn't just been sitting around watching storytelling evolve. Oh no, he's actually helping to lead it. Whether it's from Hollywood or the content creators or even the vertical revolution. That's Scott Brown. He is literally shaping the future of entertainment. And we're going to go into that journey today, and we're going to talk about, what the industry needs. We're also going to talk about what's next. And we also might just talk about Laguna Beach and what it takes to order shabu shabu. So stay tuned. Are you ready? Sound speeding? Camera speeding. This is the Vertical Buzz, the voice of the vertical revolution. Action.
What a pro.
So fun, huh?
Real fun, yeah.
Scott, it took us a while to get here.
It's okay.
But you're here.
Right on time.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad you are. Hey, listen, I've got to read your bio so our people out there know who you are and all that fun stuff. You just have such a fascinating background that it's so fun to watch. Anyway, here we are, guys. Scott Brown. He is an Emmy-nominated director. How's that for an opening line? Not bad. He's a writer, a creative producer, and he's the founder of what is really cool. He's the CEO of Second Rodeo Productions, which is a Los Angeles-based studio creating premium digital and vertical storytelling. Now, his work has generated more than, are you ready? 1 billion organic views, including collaborations with MrBeast, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the Larry King now, and major brands. I mean, he's done all these brand work with Under Armour, Ford, Gatorade, Roku, and BET. I mean, we all know all those brands. Pretty cool, right? Born in Pasadena, raised in Laguna Beach, Scott is a graduate of Laguna Beach High, not a bad place to go to high school, when he's not directing, he's actually an amateur musician and an avid drone pilot, which I can't wait to talk about, and a builder. So his favorite films include Big Fish, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and Alfred Hitchcock's Lifeboat, while Sidney Lumet and Danny Boyle rank among the filmmakers that he most admires. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it for Scott Brown.
Thank you.
Woo!
Appreciate it.
You're here.
Great. Thank you.
Oh, man, this is so fun.
Yeah.
Quick shout out here. We're going to start the show with my people that keep the lights on here. A big shout out to Aero, AEIRO.co, the best air purifier in the world, the AC-150. And also Verticast. Verticast. Swipe, cast, and create. It is the casting app for every vertical actor. If you're not on there, you need to be on there now. Verticast, and they are going to be sponsoring our rapid fire segment, which comes up a little bit later in the show. Swipe, cast, and create at Verticast app. There we are.
Well done.
Oh my gosh, there's so much to talk about.
We'll talk about it all.
Because you just came back from a pretty cool trip.
Yeah, I was in Europe for a couple of weeks. The first week I was there, it was for Cannes Lion, where I would give a presentation on not only microdramas, but also the larger scripted digital boom that we're seeing.
Yeah.
I actually did that with Hannah Stocking, who's one of the stars of Playback. Big creator, she once again was a Forbes Top 50 creator, 78 million followers across all social media. She's been around since the Vine days. And, we really got to share our passion with, people on that stage.
Yeah.
And then, one of the things that was amazing about for the last 2 years, Cannes Lion has really expanded from being a place for advertisers, which it still is, to a major place for creators to meet up, and really where digital.
Mainly advertisers? Is that
well, yeah. So in the past, there's been this award called the Golden Lion, and that's been one of the most prestigious awards you can win in advertising.
Oh, wow.
But over the last couple of years, so there's like the Cannes Film Festival.
Correct.
And there's Cannes Lion, which is more about excellence in advertising, commercials, things like that.
Got it.
But lately, they've also made it, they really call it the home for creativity. And so there's this section of it called Creator Beach. And it's a big event with a lot of activations. Darman, for example, gave a speech there as well. And what I really was struck by was the interest of really, I think, brands and legacy media companies to see what really I'm all about these days, and I think have been really for my whole career, which is this convergence of legacy media and digital, which has just been speeding up like crazy. And that's actually what I look at Verticals being a part of, is this larger convergence.
Okay. Well, that's really, how did it feel to be sitting up on that stage? That had to be a moment. I mean, where you had to take a breath, didn't you? And look out there and go, I'm really sitting right here in this, and people are listening to me talk.
Well, 100%. And but because I'm going on 20 years now almost of doing this, right? Since I graduated film school. Well, if you count film school, really. And I really feel like the last couple of years, especially the work that I've been doing in Vertical and the microdrama piece, I've had so many of those moments of, oh, wow, like I had to take a moment and be grateful and look at what I was doing, right? Because I've been really fortunate to do some really interesting things in my career, but
you've worked pretty hard, Scott.
I've worked very hard.
Give yourself a little credit here, man. You don't have to. I've been really lucky. No,
luck is involved though. Luck is an important part.
I'm all about luck. I get luck,
and it's what you do with the luck. I think is what's really important, right?
Sure.
And it's but I appreciate that.
But you've worked your ass off. Basically.
That's an important part too. You have to.
So, yeah.
And what I've been able to. I mean, look, they say that luck is when opportunity meets preparation.
Correct.
I think that's a really good way of looking at it.
That's a good one. That's a clip. Let's get that social media clip. Just repeat that real quick.
Yeah, luck is when opportunity meets preparation.
Boom.
It really is.
No, it is. It is.
I learned about microdramas like about 2.5 years ago. It was February of 24.
Jeez.
And they were called short dramas.
Yes,
and
they were.
No one in LA was really talking about them. Unknown to me, there were a lot of people.
See, I got involved in April of 23.
See, you were doing them.
I was doing them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But like the larger creator economy or even the entertainment industry was not. You were really early.
Nobody was doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
And anybody that you would talk to knew nothing.
Yeah.
Had no clue what that was.
Well, and I don't think they had the eyes to really see what was, it really was a larger part of.
Right.
And because of, obviously, the quality of Verticals, there's a big spectrum, right? But I think people are really...
But there's a big spectrum in a lot of things.
In everything.
Absolutely. So it's the same.
And I think that people in Hollywood sometimes, there's a tendency to judge things by the lowest quality of something in that spectrum. And that's always been a problem. I've always, when I looked at Verticals, I really looked past maybe sometimes the quality on the execution side that some Verticals have. And really, there was really good meat and potatoes screenwriting going on. There was really passionate acting, like like watching actors like embrace the plot points that a lot of Vertical actors have to, and do it with all of their craft and all of their, execution is a really wonderful thing.
And you did it knowing that a lot of this writing was not great.
Yeah.
But to me, that was all part of the challenge. The challenge was, how do I take this that's probably not written really well, and I'm not even a writer, but I could tell by saying the words going, nah, that's not how I'd really say it. But I'm not going to sit here and argue, so I'm going to be an actor and grateful that I'm on camera, and I'll make the best of what I can do. So it was a challenge to do all that.
So that's what I kept consistently seeing was a large number of really passionate people executing with every ounce of their being. And I thought actually in the early days, that's something I would talk about is I thought, and it's to this day, I think audiences really respond to the passion that Vertical crews and Vertical actors execute with.
Sure.
I've talked to so many actors in the space, and most of the actors that I come across, like however the part is written, they're going to make that real, and I really admire that.
Good. Well, let's take a step back for a minute here.
Yeah.
Back a little earlier in your life.
Sure.
And just because you're in filmmaking, you've been there 20 years.
Yeah.
Growing up in Laguna Beach.
Yeah.
I love that. love Laguna. Who doesn't
I
like
was,
Laguna
I was
Beach,
very
right?
lucky to do that.
What first sparked your interest in filmmaking? Was it something there in high school? Yeah. So tell me that story.
So I think I've always been looking, like a lot of creative people, I was always looking for my tribe as I was growing up, looking for something to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
And I discovered theater in middle school.
Oh, okay.
And
so you, like the rest of us, you're a theater guy.
I'm a theater kid, aren't I?
Theater kid first. There you go.
I love it. Yeah. And, you know, it's interesting. I think the director in me knew early enough that I wasn't meant to do it professionally, but it didn't matter in high school. I loved it.
Oh.
You know, audition for parts, would sometimes get, you know, supporting roles. My senior year, I played one of the leads in The Crucible, which was wonderful.
That's a tough role.
That was a tough role.
That's
you know, I was
good.
just thinking about that the other night. Like me and the lead actor, we had chemistry, and it was really fun to, you know, just go for it and commit yourself to the role. And, you know, I didn't really have training yet, and I never have gotten this training in, you know, any kind of method or craft. It was much more, you know, high school acting, but still, what I loved is the remarkably collaborative nature of a play, that everyone comes together to exceed the sum of their parts.
Sure, absolutely.
That's and I would get so excited before, and the nerves before opening night, and then coming out on stage and, you know, facing vulnerability and fear with a group of people and overcoming it together while an audience is sometimes literally cheering you on is a really special thing.
That is cool.
And I fell in love with it.
Was there maybe a lesson that you learned along the way there that maybe still guides you today, that you learned very early on?
Yeah, you know, I learned early on a respect for acting and for writing. I think that, and I because I started, however few years I practiced it, I learned a respect for acting and an understanding that human performance is the vessel by which we metabolize story as a viewer, right? Yes. And that respect for acting really served me, for example, when I went to film school, when people would get really obsessive about the lenses and the dolly moves, which are really important.
Right. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know, the acting.
It's the story.
It is, yeah.
So where'd you go to film school?
So I went to USC and studied screenwriting at that school.
Wow.
But at the same time, I would take as many elective courses.
As an undergrad?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there were 24 people in my major.
That was
really
it?
Tough one. Yeah, really tough one to
Very
get
nice.
into.
Yeah.
Which was good because I think for my parents, certainly it was like, okay, well, he got into this hard program, so.
And an expensive program.
Yeah, well, that
USC. I mean, it's like,
thank you, student loans and everything. But you know, you know, it was that was a really good experience too, because instead of getting a major in production, though I did take a lot of elective classes in production,
of course,
I studied screenwriting, which I think really instilled in me a great respect for writing as well. You know, I wrote like 8 feature films as part of the curriculum.
During your time?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
You actually had to go to a camp before your freshman year started for a weekend.
Really?
Just to get up to speed on the basics of screenwriting. They would teach you like interior versus exterior, how action lines were written, like the real basics. And then you started your course. And like, for example, they also wouldn't allow you to spend a year studying abroad, because it was a really intense course. There was a lot of writing. And I think that's really good because, you know, for me, I have that deep respect for writing, but to really be forced to constantly confront the white page, which is just the
uncertainty. That had to also give you a certain amount of discipline.
Absolutely.
You know, discipline. And that's because that's tough for me. I mean, I get so distracted with stuff. That,
of course.
You know,
well, it's so hard to face the unknown as a creative person.
Well,
right?
That's it.
And to be vulnerable at the same time.
That's right.
Like, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
I remember all the engineering students would be like, oh, come on, you're just making things up every week.
You're just writing shit on paper. And
and I'm like, well, yeah, that's easy if you don't care. But if you actually care and you want to make something good, it's really challenging.
That's right. So, so I'm just going to jump into a couple of things here because I think that your history and what you've done professionally over these 20 years is really impressive, and it bears talking about it, because you're really it's what's also going to lead us into the conversations about verticals, you guys, because I'm trying to lead somewhere here, because Scott is one of the guests. I don't know that I've had many on that have quite the depth of background you have in so many different areas of entertainment. And so that's what's really cool.
Well, I really like I often, even in pitches in business today, will try to go on a very fast version of telling it, because I think there's a lot of experience I draw from all the various places I've been as I've gone, that it really servicing this moment as well.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So your work generated to date, I mean, you quote this a lot, more than 1 billion views.
Oh, yeah.
Now, has that changed how you define success?
No, because for me, success is really about connecting with people and connecting with people through the work that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you this, and I've had this experience even in recent years. Some of the things that have been the most fulfilling for me are not the things that reached hundreds of millions of people. Like, I'm really grateful for those projects that I've done, but sometimes some of the passion project short films that I've made, or even some of the black box theater that I did when I had just gotten out of film school getting work, still is really meaningful to me. And I think what I really define success as is how well, often me as a leader of some form, how well was I able to get and guide and synthesize a group of people in a collective act of vulnerability, passion, and oftentimes empathy to connect with an audience in a way that audience is energized to share with other people and move them. That really is what it is for me. That might be the spectacle of crashing a train with MrBeast. It might be the tears at a very intimate scene, or the joy of Maddie Bryce going on stage at Coachella at the end of playback. It's really those. What I'm always blown away by is in what we do through fiction, we're able to synthesize extraordinary truths about this existence. And that is something that I can never get bored of.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. So you've worked, and you mentioned it just now. You talked about working with MrBeast.
Yeah.
The Rock. I love that you worked with Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, Dwayne's
you got
great.
Stories on there. We'll talk about.
Oh, sure.
Larry King and many others. And you've worked with a lot of really impressive people. What do the very best creators have in common?
So because
you've worked with some really good creators, man.
No, and that's been a really great experience to see what people, and also people at kind of the height of their success.
Yeah.
Like I was there.
I dig for that. I don't mean to break in here, but I dig for that. Because I studied that a lot when I was doing a lot of business. A lot of my life was business. I did sales and marketing for a long time, and I was always fascinated by what do all these people, all these particularly retailers that are so good and so good at what they do, what do they have in common? And there were common threads throughout about mostly to do with relationships with their customers. Yeah. That's where that all drew. It was like, that was the commonality of somebody successful. Yeah. And in that, so what happens in this world? Is there a commonality?
Absolutely is. Okay. I mean, they all were extraordinarily passionate and obsessive. They were driven to do their work every day. They, different, I think, motivations for that, but driven. It was always about connecting with people in some way as well.
Okay.
Very curious. I think that curiosity is, and even to this day, I think even when I might be interviewing either a potential business partner or a potential person that might work with us, it's really important to me to see that there's some curiosity there. I think that's important. And also remarkably collaborative. Whether it was Dwayne on a set of one of our, we did this like musical with Lin-Manuel Miranda that was really fun to make. Or it might be, even Jimmy Donaldson, MrBeast, in a creative meeting, there were so many questions. There was this drive to not only understand the material and what we were working on, but also understand the perspective of the people that they were collaborating with. I think that's really important too. Like you go fast alone, but you go far together.
I love
right.
That.
And that's like I believe an African proverb, and it's really true. Right.
Yeah.
And in this, we're not writing novels here, right? We're making audiovisual storytelling, and it by definition is collaborative.
Right.
And so I think those qualities are really important.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I want to talk about another quality here, and that is our sponsor, Aero, AEIRO.co.
Love them.
The best air purifier in the world, the AC-150, and there it is right there. AC-150.
I'm breathing it right now.
Are you not?
Wonderful.
Isn't it just feel really like good here?
This is the top 3 air I've ever breathed.
There you go.
I ever breathed? I don't know.
That's Aero, AEIRO. You can manage the entire process right here on your phone. It'll tell you how bad your room is. It'll tell you when it's all cleaned up. Tell you when you have to do it again, when you have to change filters, everything. You're going to run it right here. That's aeiro.co, the AC150, because the only thing that you should be breathing is inspiration.
There you go.
Ta-da.
I love good copy. I love good copy. Let's do it. That's great.
All right. I want to hear a story or two. I mean, I passed over it, but MrBeast, Dwayne Johnson, Larry King, give me a story.
Yeah.
Whether it's about Dwayne Johnson or Larry King, somebody give me a story.
Well, I'll tell you.
Well, for how nice of a guy was Larry King?
Larry King was truly a mensch. Like,
I love that.
He was, I mean, when you interview so many people, literally thousands of the most interesting people at the interesting.
Do you know how many shows did he do?
I don't know.
God,
but I mean,
I'm sure there's a number.
I mean, well, I was there over the course of 3.5 years. I did 750 episodes.
Whoa.
Which means Larry did 750 episodes. And we interviewed everyone you can imagine. I mean, we interviewed the Dalai Lama twice. That's how much like Larry would, and he was so curious. And every interview he wanted to find something. You know, he was once, and he was passionate about the people that he worked with. He had Eli Roth on the show once. And they were just talking about how Eli looks for young directors.
Tell the audience who Eli Roth is.
Eli Roth is one of the great horror directors, producers. He's also an incredible actor.
Yes.
And Larry was like, well, you know, Scott's a director. We all had a terrible Larry King impersonation.
So you're in the studio.
I'm in the control room, like, all right, ready, camera 2, go 2, ready 1. And then Larry's like, well, you got to watch Scott's short film. It's like one of the best I've ever seen. And like, and I sent it to Eli Roth, and it's like and that was the kind of thing he really cared about the people. When I eventually left to actually go work on Dwayne's channel, he would send me messages on his cell phone, like video messages, like, Scott, where are you, Scott? Like, he was,
my gosh,
yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
I've been really fortunate. You know, there's and something I learned on Larry's show, 99% of the people that we had on there, especially the successful people, like the truly successful people. They were kind, they were patient, they were present. You know, there were a couple people that might not have been the greatest people ever, but like in general, like the really, really successful people in this world were especially present. That was really the thing that stuck with me.
So how long did it take him to shoot an episode?
Oh, real time. I mean,
in real time.
He would shoot he would do just like we're doing right now. He would talk to him for about 30 minutes.
Yep.
You know, his producers had him cards similar to yours. And then he would do his reads off the prompter.
Yeah,
but boom, 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 every time, never made a mistake. I mean, he was such a pro. The only thing that could get him upset, like even a little bit, were if people were late. Like that was his one thing. He was like,
does that sound familiar, you guys?
Frank Sinatra was on time. It was like always. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so great. Mm-hmm. So it's not much different than the way we do it today.
No, it's not. You know, in fact, even coming on this set and feeling the lights and just feeling the crew buzzing around and just talking to you, it feels like the same flavor of energy that we did every day on that set.
Oh, we love what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and that's the thing.
And that's what comes across.
And that ends up on screen.
It does.
I'm a big believer on that. I said that a lot. I've said it to all my crews.
100%.
Yeah.
So let's jump into here. What convinced you that vertical storytelling was more than just another trend?
Well, I think
you said you jumped in here in around early 24.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and specifically, there was a way I wanted to do it, which we can get into, which is
what
ended up with my partnership with MyDrama. But, really it was contextualizing it in the larger things happening in the creator economy. So, throughout the history of the creator, this is something my speech at Cannes was about, really. Besides some outliers, like for example, Donald Glover had a sketch troupe that did really well, and sketch to a certain degree has done well on YouTube.
Yeah.
But there's never been a sustained ecosystem of narrative content online, digitally native content. Like you don't see sitcom. Again, there are outliers, of course. There's exceptions, but you don't see this. Traditionally, you have not seen this large output of scripted storytelling coming out of digital. Like when I started in digital, it was during the writer's strike of 2007 and 8 when web TV was a big thing.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
People different people were making web series back then.
Yes.
And I made some of those web series is how I got my start. And we thought back then that within a few years, certainly 2010, 11, 12, a lot of us would be making TV shows and that TV shows would come from the internet and the idea of what a TV show even is would change. And yes, streamers showed up, but this idea of like creator economy, digitally native mediums of scripted. until recently. Now, over the last 5 years, and especially accelerating the last 3, you've got people like Darman, according to Forbes, the second highest grossing YouTuber in the world, 100% scripted content. Alan Chickenchest, scripted content.
I've been in 32 Darman.
Then there's and the output is incredible.
It's amazing.
I think right now he's doing 5 20-ish minute shows a week, and he's doing original shorts.
Yes.
And he's got a microdrama output deal with Fox My Drama.
Right.
So it's like, and he's running a sustained, successful business doing that. And there are so many channels that don't have big names yet. But, as a YouTube expert.
And the key word is yet. You just said
exactly.
it. No, that is the key word.
It absolutely is. Like,
But they're coming.
But I've been in the creator economy the whole time. I remember when people were dismissing, called them influencers back then, creators.
Yes.
Oh, who are these people doing vlogs in their bedrooms? And I was working with a lot of them. And I saw the stacks of fan mail that they would get, similar to how a lot of vertical stars get enormous followings.
Oh, well, these fan pages are nuts.
Incredible. Very
passionate.
passionate.
Great.
That was one of the things that told me that it wasn't a fad. It basically, history doesn't repeat itself, but it really loves to rhyme. And it felt like the microdrama boom rhymed with the creator economy emergence that was happening in around 2009, 10, 11, and so forth, right?
Yep.
And when I contextualize it along with Darman, I was actually talking to Dar about a possible creative role, and that's what led me to discover them, was one of his producers told me about microdramas. And it's when I contextualize it in this larger creative economy boom of scripted that I was like, oh, this totally makes sense. Movies at the speed of TikTok.
Right. And that's what got you here.
That's what got me here. And I really believed it. And when I looked at the fan response, when I looked at the actor followings that many had, when I looked at the fact that fundamentally people were watching these, not because of IP or of a famous creator or actor, but because they wanted to know what happened next, the heart of drama, that's what really got me into it.
Well, and that's exactly where this has gone.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what separates a great vertical from just an average one?
I think it's creative ambition and creative risk taking.
Okay.
But it's an interesting conversation, because we can also have a conversation about perhaps what separates. I mean, there's obviously a going wisdom that many of the apps will try to sell, that these are one very particular thing, and that's really the only thing that's ever going to work. I've heard apps say that they've cracked the code. This is the final end game product.
Yeah, right.
Right. No, this is the beginning of something. And I can tell you, with information that I'm allowed to share, both my 2 ambitious verticals that we've made, that my company made from soup to nuts, came up with the idea, wrote it, shot it, edited, delivered. We have some playback, especially has the best completion rate of anything on my drama this year. And both of the series have done enormously well for my drama.
Yeah, I mean, and we've talked about playback on this show before.
With Royce.
We had Royce Lundquist.
We love you,
Laird. Royce. We love you. Big shout out, Royce Lundquist.
Actors, yes.
Yeah, we had him on and we saw a little bit of that. And talked to Royce about playback, playback's been getting a lot of love. And so obviously we need to talk about that. So let's just go there, because you've gone from you found verticals, you've been working your butt off to get to the point you are, and then you start creating these 2 projects, and they both really explode.
They really, and I really want to share that, because they both have done really well. And I tell my teams, and we, by the way, my drama have been excellent partners with us.
That's great.
I tell my teams,
shout out to my drama,
shout out to Anatoly and Bogdan.
There you go.
They came to me when I was going around town trying to find an app. Because here's the thing. When I ran Dwayne's channel, I had to do 2 things. I had to make content that Dwayne would love, but I also had to make content that YouTube would organically want to watch. There are ways to do that don't work, but there are ways to do it that do work. So I was going around to all the apps saying, I want to be able to elevate these in ways that will attract big brands, maybe notable talent, other things like that, but also service the audience and community that loves them so much. And Bogdan and Anatoly gave me that shot.
And they did
Yeah,
that.
in fact, they asked me to be disruptive. They really were encouraging. It was kind of the meeting you always want to have as a director.
Absolutely.
It really was.
And how far had you been into the vertical world before this happened?
Well, so I'd been in there for about 6 months. I was actually, before I understood how much money has to be spent on the advertising, I was actually raising money to build my own app.
Okay.
Yeah. And this, different 2 years ago in this world, it's like 10 years ago, right?
That's exactly right.
And so, but when I discovered how, and I was getting a lot of meetings, I didn't get that far with anybody, but I was having, doors were opening that I hadn't gotten open, because I've raised money before for a company a few years back. The fundraising on this, though it didn't complete, there was less resistance this time. That was another thing that made me know, because the data was there, the revenue's there, the audience behavior's there, the app store charts
and this goes back, what, 2 years? Every year?
Exactly.
Like 2 years.
Yeah.
And now we go 2 years even forward. Now banks are coming forward saying, we got money to spend on vertical product.
Yeah.
Come see me.
Just spoke to an investment bank that's interested in, they're tracking the space. I mean, I've met with some people who have founded some major media companies that have sold to even larger media companies. There's, we're about to see, I think, a major shift in this space.
We talk about that. We've talked about that a couple of times.
Yeah.
There are so many apps. I think that there's a lot of consolidation that's going to go on. There's going to be, just like they did with Hulu and Disney and all these people that start merging. The better ones are going to rise to the top. They're going to coordinate with each other, make bigger places, and we'll see. And the more these Western apps start showing up, the Share TVs and the Moopix and VU and all these guys that are starting to do things, Microhouse Films, those are the guys that I think are going to change the game, because the combination of them doing what they're doing at this level, up against the drama waves and the flare flows and the drama boxes that still are playing a little, we won't get into the whole AI thing right now, but the whole AI thing that they're kind of playing with and everybody's enamored with.
Right.
These guys are going to start rising up, and I don't know. It's going to be fun to watch it. I'm just so grateful to be part of this.
Popcorn meme.
Yeah.
Oh, so the only, I would just add though that but I think it's important to, especially as we see this larger emergence right now, I think it would be strategically suboptimal to look at the verticals as though they're in this siloed world. I really think that the verticals are part of what is ultimately going to be an expansion of scripted formats across digital. Because TikTok, I would add to that list of platforms. And what TikTok is going to do to, Issa Rae's show, Screen Time, massive.
It's massive.
Massive. It's the first of many.
And just hearing, I think you were at the conference that I was at and got to hear that Dawn Yang from TikTok. Yes. Just the explanation of where TikTok is going in this world is going to make them, without a doubt, a leader in the whole vertical entertainment world.
Yeah, you look at the explosion of Issa Rae's show.
Yes.
That is partially a signal of the potential of what is possible for other players that want to enter the space. And I think it'll be very good because, however imperfect, the algorithms of YouTube and TikTok, they are a meritocracy, an imperfect meritocracy, but they are a meritocracy. The shows that, and I think you're going to see new genres, new different types of content working, and that's going to be good because it will create this feedback loop, returning to the apps, giving them confidence in other types of content to make as well.
That's great.
Yeah. I'm optimistic. I'm very excited.
Very excited.
I know there's a little anxiety right now in the space, and I get it, but I think really it's more about just a shifting metamorphosis. Like growth, the best kind of growth is nonlinear. And it's okay that it slows down. That's okay.
Well, and it is interesting because when you look at, we all look at look at social media every day, and on social media right now, one of the top things is all this AI, and it's like, oh my God, there's less work for actors now. There's less work for everybody because they're doing all. Just slow down, take a breath, everybody. It's going to be okay. Yeah. It really will. It's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
So you know what? Maybe you need this break. Maybe that's that sign that says you don't need to do 7 verticals back to back to back to back to back. Just take a breath.
I forget who it was, but one of the great filmmakers of like the 60s, I forget who it was, but he has this wonderful speech about how creative people need to allow their creativity to be fallow for a period. It is good to rest. It is good to have a period of low productivity. You don't want it to be too long.
No.
But it's good to take a breath in, listen to some music, watch movies, do something different. It's good for creativity.
There's 100%.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. Okay, let's watch Playback, because this one has garnered a lot of eyes. This has gotten a lot of eyeballs, a lot of people talking about this film. It's been nominated for several. It's won awards. I mean, this is one of those verticals that folks out there, if you guys haven't seen many verticals in my audience out here of the Vertical Buzz, make sure you watch this one, please, because this one is really good. One, it's got my friend Royce in there. Two, it was directed by Scott Brown, my other friend. And three, it's just a great freaking film. It just really is.
And it's a musical.
Come on. All right, let's watch that. Cue it up here for me.
Yeah, so this is our release trailer for Playback. So we had a teaser that you had on when you had Royce.
Is that what we had? Okay,
yeah, so that was our teaser. Okay. And then this is the trailer that includes one of our songs as well as dialogue from all of our wonderful actors.
All right, here we go. Playback.
Sing. Sing like everything depends on this moment.
Something struck me once you came around, shook me up and down.
Luke, songwriter.
No.
Sound pretty good once we put some auto-tune on it.
Face will look pretty good once I throw it through the wall.
No one is calling me a one-hit wonder.
No one is calling you at all. You know your little secret?
You know what it's like to feel something real?
Are you sure that you have got this? I'll literally tell everyone about your dirty little lies.
Everybody wants something from me.
What are you running from?
I won't waste this love.
I'm not running from anything.
I could never get enough.
Then prove it. Sing.
I'm gonna feel the fear. I'm gonna do it anyway. Though I'm alone right here. Your kind of love is worth the wait. Your kind of love. Your kind of love is worth the wait.
So did you get it?
Oh my gosh. Come on, you guys. Let's hear
Thank
it.
you. Thank you. Oh, thanks, everyone.
That is a great trailer.
Thank you very much.
I love that.
Cut it myself.
Oh man.
I don't cut the shows. I get in there, but the trailer, I was like, yeah, let's do it.
So just give us a little list of the accolades so far Playback has gotten.
So Playback, we won Best Director at the Vertical Drama Market Awards, the Apollo Awards. We've also won 4 Telly Awards, including a gold.
Really?
Yes. And so between our 2 verticals, we won 6 Telly Awards, including a gold Telly for writing, a gold for music. And I was really fortunate to get a bronze for directing. But what's cool about the Tellys is the directing award is for all the categories.
Okay.
So if all the commercials basically submitted,
Yeah.
and verticals and things, we were able to bring home that bronze for directing.
I won a Telly Award once.
Yeah,
I did.
it's a good award
for a commercial.
Congratulations. Yeah,
it was
congratulations.
for a commercial.
That's fantastic.
It was for Kelly Moore Paint.
Okay.
And I just always remember that when they call, I didn't know anything about it at the time. I did this years and years ago, but I remember the production company calling, "Hey, we want," because I'm the guy in the commercial. I'm this painter.
You're the guy.
I'm this house painter, and I'm the guy. I don't have any lines. I do have a line. I have a VO that is played quite out, but it was a good commercial.
That's
anyway,
great. No, that's
the Telly Awards are a big one.
They are. They're very legit. And,
so Telly
we also
Award.
we've been covered in Vanity Fair. We've been covered in Variety, Deadline, New York Times. Yeah, it's been good.
Any festivals? Well, there are no vertical
There
film
aren't really
festivals. Not
but
yet.
You know what though? But you know what's gonna be interesting is so we shot at Open Gate. So we shot it where it's basically a big square.
Okay.
And you can take the vertical frame out of that. You can take the horizontal. So we have a
version
16:9 version as well. And we're currently shopping that. So we'll see.
We should.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's a great film. The story is good. The writing is good.
Yeah. Thank you.
The act. I mean, everything about Playback. I loved it. I
Appreciate that.
watched it all the way and enjoyed every minute of it.
The ending really. We had a physical screening, and I was really heartened at the response towards the end.
Did you play it all the way through?
Yeah, all the way through.
Like a regular film?
Yeah, but in a vertical aspect ratio.
Wow.
And there were audible gasps at the end when you find out about the mom and all that. So
wow.
that was really great. And for me too, what's been great about this space for me is throughout my career, my whole life, I've wanted to make a movie, right? And over the years, that's, as you go through this journey in this career, that desire still remains. And when I made The Diamond Rose, and especially when I finished making Playback, that in my heart of hearts, I've made that movie. I've made movies now. Because I really think highly of verticals.
Yeah.
They're not movies, but they're in a lot of ways they're movies. They're shot in a vertical aspect ratio, but the breathing heart and soul of them is that of a feature film.
Oh, of course.
And I really think that is, and as having made a couple and being able to make them, and shout out to my drama for giving me this opportunity, make them in the way that I wanted to make them for the most part, with a lot of great input from my drama. That's a checkbox that I get to say. And I'm so grateful to say that. Like the cast, Amber Laird, Royce Lundquist, Sophie Sumner, and Hannah Stocking,
right.
top creator.
Yeah, these guys, I mean, they're all good. I mean, everything you did with this film is great.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
This is great. But
Thank you.
so I have a question though about directing that.
Yeah.
So because our fans ask about that all the time, that how does directing for the vertical phone screen film, how does that change the way that you would tell that story?
It's a really good question. I mean, so much of what I'm able to do is also about the crew that I work with and the cast that I work with, right? It's such a collaborative medium. So, first of all, I think it's if you get a really great crew in place and you get the right mindset of that crew, one of excitement and collaboration and respect for what we're doing, I think that is like so important. And what I tell those crews in the cast is, it's all about calibrations, right? So for example, I would go to my actors and I would say to them, I never want you to act from a result, right? I want you to use the tools that whether it's the method or whatever. I want you to listen to your instincts. However, within your instincts, whatever you can do within your craft, I want to encourage you to allow yourself to migrate to the bolder choices within your instincts. Now that's important. I don't want you to do something that doesn't feel right in the moment. I want everything to be a real choice that you would make, but allow yourself, if you're in the road and you're trying to decide, should I maybe play it down or up? Just allow yourself to be bold, and encouraging bold choices, encouraging the crew to make bold choices. I also co-write these, right? So, especially in the first 20%, structuring the film in its pace and its stakes such that if the main character does not overcome the obstacle of that episode, the story will end. Also, where we meet the plot before we really meet the characters. Yes,
right.
Of course, the characters are on screen and so we're meeting them.
Yes.
But we're not getting to know them.
You're right.
Whereas a movie, you generally, especially traditionally, you would get to know the person before they met the girl or the guy. You would get to know their cruddy job before they got fired, all that stuff, right? No. We are starting right at the moment that their life explodes. Right. And
explain why that is. Explain what has to happen in that moment in the beginning of these films.
It's the immediacy of social media, right?
Like to have
you are, sometimes some people say that people's attention span is gone. I don't fully agree with that. Things have happened to attention spans, but what is gone is people's patience to wait 8 or 10 minutes to find out whether or not something is worth their time. So in movies, generally, you're not sure if it's good until 8 or 10 minutes in.
Yes.
That's when it really gets going. And verticals,
it's about
right
at that
away.
point, if I'm watching something on streaming or Netflix and if I watch something that's kind of random, if I'm just sitting there kind of staring at the screen at 8 or 10 minutes in, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm gone. It's like, this is not
100%.
I'm not wasting my time here.
Exactly. I don't think that's a problem.
No,
if you're a responsible artist, I don't think that's a problem.
No. Again, it's the structure. If you've structured it right, you're telling the story the way that the consumer wants to. Yeah. This is audience driven. This is so different than a lot of other things because we are getting so much, and we're in this world of algorithms. We're in this world of getting the data that says, oh my God, if you do this in the first 10 minutes, they're going to stick around.
Yeah.
If you don't, they're gone. And we know we've done it. We've got the data to prove that.
Yeah,
So
it's retention. But here's the thing. What is plot but a retention mechanic? It's more than that, but it's, what is good acting? Partially, it's a retention mechanism. Like, great storytelling is about retaining an audience's retention.
100%.
Not getting them to change the channel, keeping their butts in the seat in the theater. That's retention. And I always try to tell our teams, and even when I talk, some of what I do now with Second Rodeo is we advise larger companies who want to enter the space in media. One of the things that I tell them is, and this is, I think is, I made a show for Quibi.
You made a show for Quibi?
I made a show for Quibi. It was another company I worked for, but it was a production company. I was the chief creative officer.
I think you're the only person I've ever met that actually did something for Quibi.
So we made a show for Quibi.
Talk about Quibi.
So I'll tell you.
Let's hear the Quibi story.
So Quibi was, I was running a NFL quarterbacks YouTube channel named Cam Newton. He was, so you know Cam Newton, right? And he had this idea for a series that ended up on Quibi. And so we made this series with Quibi. And because Cam was willing to promote it, so they were all about it, right? And, there were a lot of really smart, wonderful people at Quibi. But, besides the issues of timing and how much money they spent, which was a big problem, one of the things that I think was a problem with Quibi was there was no one from the creator economy / digital in their leadership, executive, creative departments. It was all people from legacy media. And here's the thing. And
wasn't it Jeffrey Katzenberg?
Yeah, this is Jeffrey Katzenberg.
Right,
that's
right. That's what I remember. Right.
So here's the thing that's important to me. In the same way that they're talking about a musical, there's a major key in music and there's a minor key in music. And music in major keys is happy. Music in minor keys is kind of sad. There's times in our lives we want major key music. There's times in our lives we want minor key music. Well, in the same way, there's a key of legacy and there's a key of digital. And there are times in our lives where we want content in the key of legacy, and there's times in our lives where we want content in the key of digital. Quibi was a bunch of people who knew the key of legacy with an audience that wanted to be in the key of digital.
Interesting.
And
this is the best explanation of Quibi I've ever heard.
Yeah, and that's a major problem. And they didn't have the people that understood the digital key. Well, I would say that one of, going back to what got me excited about verticals in the first place was, however imperfect, I saw companies that were trying to make content in that digital key. And part of the digital key is getting the audience right into the premise, explaining what they're going to expect, and keeping them really energized throughout the show. But, when I was at MrBeast, one of the things that Jimmy would teach us, MrBeast himself, truly a genius of retention, right? He would bring you in, the senior producers, and he would say, some people think I go to a 10. He would make this little chart, and I stay at a 10 for my whole video, but I don't. And if you watch his videos, this is actually true. I go to a 10 and I stay at a 10 in terms of intensity and energy.
Yeah.
But then I slow it down and I actually use that time to introduce new plot elements and new, sometimes characters or plot devices, so that at the end I can go to a 12. And so his chart is like this, like up, down a little bit, and then up. So we actually applied that to our verticals. The first 20% of both the Diamond Rose and Playback is very intense. Plot point, change, twist. But then around the 40% mark, past the paywall, and of course the paywall is now changing. But we slowed it down. You got to learn about the characters, whether it was Maddie and Luke or if it was Owen and Scarlett. Like, you got to know these characters in a way that allowed us to have a really powerful third act.
Okay.
And because, another thing that Jimmy would talk about is the ending is so important because people share things that leave them with a really powerful feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that some vertical apps don't really put a lot of energy into the ending because I've experienced sometimes they believe that people will just watch once they've reached the halfway point. So why put a lot of energy into the ending? Well, that's a missed opportunity. Because if you finish with a really strong ending, you can have really great shares. And I think that's why we had some of the best organic shares on our series, was we really paid a lot of mind to our endings.
This is all so fascinating. I mean,
it's incredible.
It is.
We're just getting started too. And this is all knowledge that's out there that the creator economy and even filmmaking has learned. But in the same way that you can transpose a song from a major to a minor key, and there's an art to that, it's really important that we take these values that we love from legacy media and transpose them to a digital key. And that's really what we really focus on at Second Rodeo, probably more than anything.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Jump back to vertical question.
Yes.
What's the biggest mistake the creators make when they first move into vertical?
For me, I think it's thinking that they are in a lesser medium or that they can't achieve what they want to. You know, I think it's very important that you're responsible to the client that you are. So I'm not suggesting that people all of a sudden start rewriting pages or not give the client what they asked, right? But you know, I forget who it was, but there's a director that I love that Steven Spielberg really looked up to. And so I heard Steven Spielberg paraphrase it. You know, as directors, we oftentimes have to be smugglers, and we have to find ways to imbue the work that responsibly gives to the people that have hired us what they want, while still finding something that we can put in there that we're really excited about as well. Sometimes those two things are aligned, but you know, just approach it with a lot of respect and make the best thing you can. Don't every time I step on set, I only have 2 speeds, 0% and 100%. So just give it your all, because you're going to grow as a filmmaker, and you'll probably end up making something you're proud of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's make something we're proud of. We're going to do rapid fire.
Okay.
It's time. It's time for rapid fire on the Vertical Buzz.
I don't know if I'm ready.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you're going to be ready. You're going to be ready.
Okay.
There's no doubt. Oh,
are these also rapid fire short answer?
They can be.
Okay.
It just depends. You just, you know, whatever comes to your mind first, that's more important.
Yeah.
If it gets into a sentence or two, that's fine as well. If it gets into a discussion. But the more important point right now is rapid fire is brought to you by Verticast. That's right. Verticast. Swipe, cast, and create. I got a little story. I'm on Verticast. I joined Verticast. They've only been out maybe a couple of months, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They've been out on the market and workable. I'm on there as an actor. I got my first 2 messages yesterday from 2 different actors asking me questions. And there's no other casting app that will allow you to have that kind of interaction.
That's great.
With actors, and I think that's fabulous. So again, Verticast at Verticast app. So if you're a vertical actor out there, just make sure you get on there and join Verticast app at Verticast app. Swipe, cast, and create. And here we go, rapid fire. All right.
Go.
So I got one for you. Laguna Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Now be honest here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Were you actually a surfer, or did you just look like one?
I probably just looked like one more than anything.
Had to ask.
I am not a very physically coordinated individual.
Okay.
Now, I have a love affair with the ocean. That I would go to the beach all the time, especially at night. I really loved just sitting with the beach and the vastness of the ocean and the energy of the ocean, but I am not a very good surfer.
That's okay.
That's
okay. All right.
Or a skateboarder.
Not everybody is.
I tried skateboarding and I broke my arm, and then I tried again and I broke my arm.
2 broken arms?
2 broken arms. I got back on the horse and the horse kicked me off again.
Well, a 3rd time that would not have been smart.
No, you gotta cut it your losses.
All right, so 1 billion views or an Oscar?
I think, well, I mean, an Oscar but I think that the accolade, that they're one and the same in a lot of ways. I mean, it's really about, it's almost like the wrong question, because for me, it's like, how did I get those billion views? I mean, the reason why I might answer an Oscar is not because I want the statue or honestly the legitimacy. It's because I would imagine that in winning that Oscar, I created something that reached an artistic height that effectively touched people.
Excellent.
Right? There's a lot of ways to get 1 billion views. There's really only one way to get an Oscar. And maybe that's why that answer was so quick for me.
Okay. But I love the pause.
Yeah.
You paused on the answer, which is good. All right, we'll take it. Did you ever watch Laguna Beach?
Yes.
Or were you too cool for that?
No, I graduated the year before they started. My brothers, I knew all those people.
Oh.
And my brother's in several episodes. He's not like a star of them, but he's in several episodes.
We had a buddy that's in there. My friend of my son's, Derek Laban.
I know that.
You know that name?
I wasn't super friendly with him.
My son played soccer at UC Davis, and Derek was a soccer player. He played at Davis with my son. They became buddies, and he was in that show.
By the way, shout out to Lauren Conrad. When I directed Larry King's show, she was a guest in like our 2nd or 3rd season. And by that time, it had been like 7 or 8 years since over 10 years since I'd graduated high school. And I walked in the green room thinking, she might remember me a little bit. She was like, Scott, and she could give me a big hug. And like, I wasn't even that close to friends with her, but she was just super friendly, awesome person.
Oh, that's very cool. All right. 1 filmmaker that every aspiring director should study.
Sidney Lumet.
Love that. Drone pilot or director?
Director.
Which one gets you into more trouble? Wait for the question.
Oh, sure.
That's
Sorry,
all
it's
right.
rapid.
No,
it's
that's
rapid.
right. Drone pilot or director, which one gets you into more trouble?
Director, because I am not willing to go against the FAA so I can fly somewhere, but I might be willing to, in my earlier years, especially, I might be willing to sneak in somewhere to get the shot, but never, always safety though, of course.
One word to describe the creator economy.
Optimistic.
One word to describe Hollywood.
Metamorphizing.
Ooh, that's a long word. I don't even think I could spell that one, but one word to describe vertical storytelling.
Nascent.
Great answers. Now you have two brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the troublemaker growing up?
Oh, my younger brother, Brian, was definitely the troublemaker. My youngest brother was more of like a bookworm, kind of really wonderful intellectual person. Me and Brian, especially when we were younger, we were best friends and we would really get into some trouble together.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one. All right. If someone made a movie about Scott Brown, who would play you?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. That's a great question.
Yeah.
For looks, I'll go to looks. The person I get a lot of the time, I'll get the person from Psych. Does that come to mind? There's two people on Psych. There's one gentleman who has like a brown hair, and I get him all the time. I forget the actor's name.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure you guys can put a picture of him up in post.
Probably who it is.
Yeah,
we have to look it up.
Yeah.
Beach day or movie marathon?
Movie marathon.
All right. Here's the biggie here.
Mm-hmm.
You're buying dinner, tacos or shabu shabu?
Oh, shabu shabu, because shabu shabu, you learn a lot about people when you get shabu shabu.
Oh, let's do tell.
So if you don't know,
I love shabu shabu.
Do you love shabu shabu?
I do love shabu shabu.
I love shabu shabu.
And it's fun. It's fun.
First of all, you're probably going to introduce people to something they either haven't had or haven't had very often.
Right. So now listen up, guys, because I talked about it in the open that we might talk about shabu shabu. And here's our shabu shabu moment.
Shabu shabu.
Okay. So here we are.
So shabu shabu, if you don't know, is a Japanese traditional form of eating, kind of similar to Korean barbecue, where in the center of your table, you have a heat source. But in shabu shabu, you are cooking you have meat and vegetables raw, and you put it into a pot of boiling water.
Yes.
And so you cook it all the way through in that boiling water. And then you have these dipping sauces.
And it only takes a couple minutes because it's very thinly sliced.
Like paper thin.
Paper thin. You're talking prosciutto thin meats and things like that, just so you understand.
And the flavor combinations. And I love cooking. Like, I'm an amateur chef.
Oh, nice. Okay, good.
And so I get to do a little bit of that. And then you really learn a lot about people because there's all these little condiments and things that you can put into your shabu sauces. And I think that's a great opportunity to connect and understand what people like. And, and then it's this communal thing. And then I just bizarrely love soup a lot. So what a great meal to end with soup. You don't end with soup very often.
No, you don't. But but what happens is, because you're cooking all these wonderful flavors in that water, in the boiling water, that you all of a sudden make an instant broth that is beyond incredible.
And no two shabu shabu broths are the same.
They would never be.
And they're really a representation of the table. Right. Because some people might order chicken, some people might order vegetables, some people are going to dip things in different, so you get this representation of the four people together, and no table of shabu shabu will end the same as another one.
Right. But in shabu shabu, it reminds me of fondue, but it's way more fun.
And it's really
faster
good.
And better. It's just
healthy for you.
Yeah.
It's just vegetables.
It's in water
and
versus oil and doing all that stuff.
Exactly.
We like shabu shabu.
Oh yeah, we love shabu shabu.
Okay,
I actually went during the late nights finishing playback. I introduced our editor to shabu shabu.
You did?
And I brought, because we bizarrely had a hot plate in the editing bay where I was working out of. And I was like, all right. So I just brought shabu shabu stuff.
Wow.
And we had shabu shabu at home.
You made it. I've never made it at home. I've always
gone out. You go to any
out.
Japanese market in LA, they're going to have the meat pre-sliced.
Oh, no kidding.
You can buy all the vegetables, all the sauces.
Oh, that's good to know.
A lot cheaper too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There you go, guys. Shabu shabu.
Make your own shabu shabu.
Make your own shabu.
Very easy.
Okay. I just like
Brought
saying.
to you by shabu shabu.
I love just saying shabu shabu.
It's Japanese for swish swish.
There you go.
Did you know that?
No, I did that
that's
part.
what it
I didn't
means.
look that
It
up.
means
Now
swish,
I'm angry
swish.
with myself.
But doesn't
for
that
not-
make sense? Because you're swishing, swishing.
Swish, swish. That's what it is.
The most animated part of this whole talk was shabu shabu. That's good.
All right. One movie everybody loves that you just don't.
That's a good question. I'm just not that big of a fan of a lot of, like, I don't love Rudy.
Oh.
I feel like a lot of people love Rudy. I don't hate Rudy. I just like, it doesn't, like, a lot of sports movies maybe don't quite do it for me, but some really do. Like, I love Any Given Sunday, for example. That's a great
good
movie.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Finish this sentence. Great storytelling always.
Always involves vulnerability and courage.
Finish this sentence. The future of vertical entertainment is.
The future of vertical entertainment is creative people taking strategic risks that expand the possibilities for other filmmakers.
What's the strangest place that you've ever flown one of your drones?
I once flew a drone at an abandoned coal mine out in the desert near Palm Springs.
Did you film it?
Yeah. So what you do, so I do like what's called freestyle drones. I'm still getting better at it, but you put a little GoPro on the, now I can shoot. The reason I got into it was to, be able to do action shots for our series. And I can do that. But what I've really gotten into is, because a drone is, it's one of the few man-made creations where its power to weight ratio is much, like a Formula One car, for example, has a power to weight ratio of like 1.5 to 1. So its power is about 1.5 times its mass. A drone's power to weight ratio is like, it depends on the drone, but 10, 15 to 1. So they can rapidly accelerate in any direction. So you put a GoPro on the front of the drone and it can hold it because it's got so much power to its weight. And then it's got 4 axes and you wear VR goggles. So you're flying the drone and you feel like you're flying. That's what I love about it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So one actor that you've never worked with but would love to direct.
Oh man. I think working with Amy Adams would be incredible.
I just finished. No, it's not over yet. Cape Fear.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have. It's good.
It's not over yet, right?
It's not done. No, but I've
no,
seen
it's not
it.
done. But
Yeah.
it's a series.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's.
I think I'm thinking of something else. Okay, got it.
Well, Cape Fear was a film
Right.
years ago,
Right.
and now it's a episodic
Okay. Oh no, so I have not seen the show.
on Apple,
Okay.
and it's Javier. What's that guy's name? Bardem.
Yeah.
And Amy Adams.
Yeah.
And it is scary.
That sounds like a great cast. I need to watch this show.
Great cast.
There's so much great stuff out there.
I watched this show and with Amy Adams. I mean, I love Amy Adams. I do. I love her.
Yeah.
But you're like this the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, people know the IP of Cape Fear.
Yeah.
It's just one of those scary shit movies. It's always been. But
you know who else I was
scary.
really impressed? I mean, I think everyone was impressed by. Who was the lead actress of Hamnet? I'm just blanking on the name.
I am too. I don't know.
I'm just so impressed by how she took something that, and I think is why she won the Oscar, is like, Jess Buckley. And something that we've seen depicted, the loss of a child. But she brought, I think, the best actors, because there's nothing new under the sun, so to speak, right? Everything has been portrayed in some way. I think the challenge of every storyteller, and of course actors are storytellers, is to bring a newness through authenticity to the story that you're telling.
Yeah.
And I thought that she brought such a novel, inventive, and honest look at loss, especially in the acute moments of losing her child, that was so incredible. It reminded me of, I got to see Michelle Williams on Broadway doing Cabaret. And I remember thinking how incredibly novel and authentic her choices were. Like, that's something that really, and honestly, I think both Royce and Amber, not only in playback, Royce Lundquist and Amber Laird in playback, the whole cast, but they brought such a novel, unique, and authentic look at the portrayal of two people falling in love. And that's one of the things that I value so much in acting, is how you bring newness to something that has been done, because you are a unique person.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Finish this sentence. People think directing is, but it's really.
People think that directing, and I think that in the beginning of my career, I might have thought this, they think that they are a football coach. A football coach, when really they're a basketball coach. A football coach, a football coach's job generally is to get a group of people to do something in concert and drill into them the exact way they're going to do it so that when the moment comes, they do it in a predictable way that overcomes the odds, right? I have actually learned that directing is being a basketball coach, which I understand to be that a basketball coach works with individuals so that they might achieve the greatest expression of their potential and their talent. So that when the time comes to shoot the ball, they achieve greatness in that moment. And basketball coaches get out of the way of their players. And I think that I've learned more and more that a very important thing is to be there, but to also get out of the way, while also providing that leadership, right? And so I guess it's ultimately, I would take it back and say once more that people think that directing is about being controlling. And I think directing really is about inspiring freedom.
Love that.
Yeah.
Call time. Early or night shoot?
Night shoot. 100%. I can shoot for 20 hours if the call time is 2 p.m. I mean, I can shoot for 20 hours no matter what. I just love it so much.
Right.
But,
yeah. Oh, no, I get that.
But man, you got to get me up for a 6 a.m. call. I'll be there on time, always on time.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's harder though.
I'm a 6 a.m. guy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good,
all day long.
You'll make me happy.
All day.
You'll be the one saying, "Scott, we're here."
Yeah.
Like, I'll be the one telling you at 4 a.m. We're here. You know?
As I'm over the corner at 4 a.m. going like this,
I know.
snoring.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'd be out.
I hear you.
Okay, so Scott, tell us where this audience and anybody out there watching can find Playback and The Diamond Rose.
So of course you can find The Diamond Rose and Playback on My Drama.
Great.
They're available right now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Check it out. My Drama.
Please. It'll be great. You know, so one of the reasons why I think that people should watch as much Sidney Lumet as they can, and also read his book on directing,
which is called
On Directing.
That's the name of the book.
Yeah, it's called On Directing.
It's called Okay, Sidney Lumet.
I think there's and also, by the way, if I could recommend 2 books, also Creativity Inc. by Ed Catmull, one of the co-founders of Pixar. Brilliant book, also.
Cool.
So, but Sidney Lumet, I would say, because Sidney Lumet is kind of how I think about directing. There are some directors like Wes Anderson. You watch a Wes Anderson movie, you don't need to know that Wes Anderson directed it. There is a look, and it is a Wes Anderson film, right? Sidney Lumet comes from a thought that the director services the text of what they're given. And there can be things that the director enjoys, and there are things that, and there are techniques and colors and anything, but truly your job is to serve the text and to inspire the cast and the crew to serve the text. And I come from even if I write it, and I don't always write, I try to even forget that I wrote it in a way and service the text. Like the prep that I do, I literally write down next to every sentence, not just every line, but every sentence of every line, the verb-based intention that I imagine the character might be trying to use for every sentence.
You do that throughout a whole script?
For everything. Yeah. So literally you're writing down hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of intentions. And one of the reasons you do that is not only does it build up your vocabulary of intentions so you can give it to the actors while you're on set, but if you're going to go through the script and literally ask yourself, what is the character trying to achieve? And by the way, N-O period, no, is a sentence. So if you're literally putting an intention for every single sentence, you think about the text in a way that's so deep and repetitive that inspiration naturally comes out of it. Like the front pages I should have brought it. The front pages of my script are just covered in notes. Because, and then by the way, what do? Inspiration leads to preparation leads to inspiration. We leave the book at home and we show up on set, and the information that is meant to come out comes out. But at the same time too, it's, Amber Laird asked me on set when I was explaining my process. She was like, well, what happens if the intention that we bring to the set is not the intention that you planned in your prep? And I'm like, oh, well, then I throw away my prep because I'm only there to be helpful to you. And in doing so, helpful to the film, right? And I think that plus it's very, actually Royce mentioned it. He talked about how my scripts are usually covered in a lot of notes. Yeah. And that's there for me, but there is an ancillary benefit that when the crew and the cast know that you've put in the work on those late nights or those early mornings, they might dig a little bit deeper with you. And that's something that's always really wonderful to have.
That's great.
Mhm.
All right. So Scott, I do have a couple more questions here. One would be, because you've worked in traditional and you've worked in content creation and now you're working in vertical. What is the poignant differences between them?
I think it's really comes down to the medium and the modality that the audience would be in for what they were creating, right?
Right.
If you're making content for someone who is in a movie theater and sitting in a chair and very unlikely to leave, versus someone who's on television and clicking with a remote, but less likely to leave, or if you're on YouTube or even vertical, where literally a galaxy of entertainment is a swipe away, I think that there probably would be, and this is something that I'm excited to see evolve, especially in digital, but there would be a little bit more urgency in needing to keep them entertained in that moment. But here's the thing about that, right? Is storytelling in a way is a technology, right? If human beings did not exist, as far as we know, the laws of thermodynamics and gravity and science would still function. The earth would still spin around the sun and light would still have a limit, right? But the hero's journey would not exist. And so to me, it makes sense that storytelling would evolve with the other technologies that it cohabitates with and that deliver it. So I don't really know. And your question was not, are they better? I would just say there is, across those different mediums, there mostly is just an understanding that there is a higher need to retain the audience from moment to moment. But I hope, and I do see, like if I go back to the MrBeast intensity graph that he would make, it's not that you can't slow things down. It's just, when do you sequence those things? Like, did you see Project Hail Mary?
Yes.
I actually think that Project Hail Mary is structured a lot like a vertical. What happens in the beginning of Project Hail Mary?
Yeah.
You don't know why he's there. You meet the plot first. Guy on spaceship.
Yeah, you're right.
And then throughout the course of the story,
I liked it.
I liked it too. And it treated why is he on that ship? Why did he end up on the ship even though he was resistant to it? It treated it as a mystery.
Interesting.
Rather than just front loading it.
You're just throwing that in my brain as maybe Hail Mary could be a vertical.
Hail Mary,
it could be like, whoa, I love this idea.
My partner, Stacey Howard, and she, along with our other producer, Franziska Harms, like the brain trust of Second Rodeo. We talk a lot about how there's a lot of TV shows out there that are very vertical. Vertical, really, the promise of vertical is an immediacy and a storytelling density and a retention intensity. That's what the promise of vertical really is.
Right.
It's that you're going to get storytelling at the speed that you've come to know on TikTok. Every 60 seconds on TikTok, once that algorithm learns you, is going to entertain you. And on the off chance that you don't like it, you can swipe away and get to the next thing.
That's right.
That's a really great promise of storytelling, that you're guaranteed to be entertained.
Yeah.
And we could have a conversation about the depth of that entertainment.
Well, yeah.
But you will be entertained.
But you will be. No, the point is,
promise.
You're going to be entertained.
Think about people who had to channel surf because, can't find anything. You don't really have that problem with TikTok. TikTok entertains you. I mean, again, the depth we can have a conversation about, but it will entertain you.
It will.
And that's what I think verticals really are. And I think what YouTube really is. I love YouTube. It's the promise that you don't need to wait to be entertained. There's no reason why that is antithetical to art.
All right, I have one more here.
Okay.
Where do you see the biggest opportunities over the next 5 years?
The biggest opportunity in media today is to make the first comedy or drama that is nominated for the Emmy in that category that premieres first on YouTube, because that will happen. And when it does, I believe it will be a combination of people like us from the vertical/digital world and people who learned a lot from the world of television and film coming together to forge the future on common ground. And so I think that is probably so it's just make great stuff in digital scripted.
Love that.
Yeah. The biggest thing about my career that I've been really grateful that I've been able to bring to vertical is in the opportunities that I've had working with the type of people that I've worked with, I've had moments where I was able to take a risk and make something that my mind and my heart came together to believe would work. And it did work. Like, we made a musical with Lin-Manuel Miranda and Dwayne to support Moana. Disney gave us some money. They let us try. I had nothing to really justify it besides my intuition and some data. And it was a huge hit. George Stephanopoulos and Michael Strahan argued live on Good Morning America whether or not it was real. You know, I got to crash a train with MrBeast, which in some ways was something that we worked to achieve. But also I got to make both of our series, which drew upon the real data that I think drives verticals, but kind of flew in the face of some allegedly common wisdom, and they've done really well. And so to anyone out there right now watching this, wondering whether or not they should take a risk, and again, always, of course, give your client what they're looking for and what they paid you for. But if you have an opportunity within that construct to take a perilous leap, I would say jump.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We got another question here,
Yes,
Scott.
yes.
We could keep doing this for, I'm sure, several hours.
Mhm.
But here's the question: Hitchcock or Kubrick? Who would make the better vertical?
So while maybe at the end of the day, and we're splitting hairs, I love Kubrick maybe a little bit more as an overall filmmaker. I have to give it to Hitchcock because he was the master of suspense. He understood how to hold you in this tense,
Yes, he did.
one could say highly retentive moment. And I think also Hitchcock had a far better understanding of the thread that binds us all together, the wisdom of the common man, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Hitchcock was a genius doing something that was about our common experience, certainly.
Yeah.
But I don't think he you know, there's a poem I love by Rudyard Kipling that asks many questions about living a good life. And it's like, if you can walk with kings yet never lose the common touch. And I think Alfred Hitchcock really understood the common touch. And I think verticals are for the people.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean, I've thought about Alfred Hitchcock doing verticals in the past.
Mm-hmm.
The other one that always comes to mind would be Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
As a vertical series.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that just be like,
Yeah.
It would be amazing.
Well, and that's what's great about this moment we're heading towards.
And I might even do it in black and white.
Heck, let's do it.
It's like, you know, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
As long as, you know.
Some of those Twilight Zone shows were so scary. As a kid,
Yeah.
I remember it was like a big deal to watch Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And be scared to death.
Yeah. Or like, you know, there's shows like, if you remember Sliders, it was different, but it was about different worlds. And
Okay.
I think anthological shows like that are going to be much more popular, especially in the digital, you know, because we have verticals, but soon we're going to have YouTube long form, like 20-minute-ish videos and stories. We're going to have 1-minute stories. Like, it's all these different types of things.
I love it.
It's really exciting. It's a good time.
Well, we could do this for a long time, Scott.
Yes.
I can't even begin to thank you for
we bet ourselves adieu.
everything that you've done here today. You're just, you know, from your early days of growing up in Laguna and directing and all the projects that you've done. I mean, my God, you've got a career. I don't know that I've had anybody on that's had quite the career you've had.
Oh, thanks.
It's very true. Having, you know, you've touched a lot of lives and you've touched a lot of really cool projects.
Thanks, man.
And now we're just blessed to have you in this whole world of vertical.
Well, I'm blessed to be here and be in this world. Like, one of the things that's been so wonderful about it is the support of the whole community.
This community, we talk about it in almost every episode. The community is unlike anything that I've ever met.
Yeah.
In any business I've ever been in, this community is just truly very special.
Yeah.
And I'm just very grateful to be part of it. So thanks for sharing all of your insights, your experiences, your vision, your career. I mean, all of that has just been spectacular. And tell everybody here where they can find you. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, of course. So you can follow me, especially on LinkedIn, if you look up Scott Brown Second Rodeo. But you can also find our website, oursecondrodeo.com. And I'm also on Instagram at ScottBrownDirects.
There you go. Those are all the numbers. And we will put all that stuff on our site too, so that you'll be able to find Scott as well. Cannot wait to see where Second Rodeo goes.
We've got some really exciting stuff that we're getting ready to announce.
Can you tip your hand on anything that's coming up?
we are very close on a collaboration with a company that recently in the last year brought one of the biggest movies in the world.
That's
That it wants to
fantastic.
get into the space.
So stay tuned. There's a cliffhanger. There's your little edge right there,
Dun,
guys.
dun,
It's right there. Dun, dun, dun.
dun.
Brought to you by Second Rodeo Productions. All right. And okay, let's get into a special thank you. Shout out to our lead sponsor, Aero, AEIRO.co. They keep the lights on here. The AC-150, the best air purifier on the market. Go find it, get it. You'll love it. And thank you to Verticast, our rapid fire sponsor that just we have such fun with rapid fire segment. Verticast, swipe, cast, and create at Verticast app. Make sure you're checking those out. If you're an actor, get on Verticast today. You're going to love that. And a huge thank you to the Glendale Podcast Studio. These guys just do
Wonderful.
a fabulous job every single week. Jason and Erica, just they kill it. We love it. And our amazing social media director, Anna, who does a wonderful job keeping us up there every single day, pounding it out there, putting the clips up and having a great time. And finally, I just want to thank all of you guys, all my guests, all the people out there. If you've enjoyed this episode, make sure that you're liking it. Make sure that you are subscribing and that you are following us and you're doing all the right things, because we are at The Vertical Buzz. You can find everything at The Vertical Buzz. You can do that. Make sure you're giving us a rating. Give us a 5-star rating and give a review, because we love doing that. And most of all, just thanks for listening. Thanks for listening and being here with us every week. Just part of being this on our journey here. We love this. And remember, 1 billion views, it may measure success, but great storytelling is measured by the lives that it touches. And we want to live with that every single day. And as I always say, right here on The Vertical Buzz, the future of entertainment is right here in the palm of your hand. This has been The Vertical Buzz, the voice of the vertical revolution. Cut!